Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of To the Ends of the Earth, a Japanese drama from 2019 that was directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. A young Japanese woman, played by Atsuko Maeda, finds her cautious and insular nature tested when she travels to Uzbekistan to shoot the latest episode of her travel variety show. In front of the camera, her persona is pretty carefree, happy-go-lucky, but behind the scenes, she's cautious and introverted. Now, despite her best efforts, all of the shootings end unsuccessfully. Frustrated by the failed filming, she takes to the streets of this mysterious country on her own. Lost in the streets of Tashkent, she finds herself adrift and alone, confronting her deepest fears and hidden aspirations. So Kiyoshi Kurosawa, most well known for his psychological and philosophical horror and thriller films, but he has made some impressive dramas over the years. I would say Tokyo Sonata is probably his most popular one, but he does have some other highlights, such as Penance, the miniseries. He's very skilled at crafting dramatic content, and since most of his horror thriller films have a heavy psychological slant to them, he's also skilled at adding depth to his films. And to no one's surprise, To the Ends of the Earth has some good depth to it. There are some multiple things that Kiyoshi explores in this film. The first of which is like the travelogue reporting and media industry. So our lead protagonist is portrayed as being very competent at her job. For example, she shows up on the beach to film a segment early on in the film, and immediately memorizes her lines while everyone's rushing around to set everything up for the shoot. She's also willing to endure any number of inconveniences for the purpose of getting the segments properly shot. But what is likely the most interesting aspect is, in fact, the difficulty associated with travelogue reporting. I mean, you'd think it would be kind of easy. You'd go out to a nice beach, film a scene, visit this place, film a scene. It's not as easy as you might think. At times our protagonist needs to reshoot her segments because something will go wrong with the production. Maybe the lighting's off, or the director wants something different, or something happens that kind of screws up the shot. And that's not even taking into consideration the logistics of working with the locals, in a different country, which can be problematic as well. So this film explores that quite well. It also explores the frustrations of working with producers and directors who have no concern for their team members. I mean, our female lead she endures all kinds of unreasonable requests without complaining at all. They call this sucking it up. You suck it up and get the job done. And you get some respect for her, for doing this. And there's a scene involving an intense theme park ride. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. That's one of my favorite scenes in the film. So another thing that Kiyoshi explores is the anxiety of being in an unfamiliar culture with a language barrier, very accurately represented. And I kind of related to it because of some of my experiences vacationing in Japan. The interaction in this film is pretty realistic. It does show the frustrations of, for example, just taking public transportation for the first time. You have no idea whether or not the next stop is yours. You can't read any of the signs. You can't understand what anyone is saying to you. You know what I mean? So it does a really nice job of capturing that. And the treatment of this theme is very well balanced because it explores how your own attitude and outlook can impact the cultural barrier when you're traveling. So our protagonist at the start of the film kind of standoffish to the local people. She never really expresses gratitude when they do something for her, stuff like that. And she's also completely oblivious to local customs, which almost accentuates her own paranoia of the situation. I'll just leave it at that. So the thematic depth of this movie is very strong. And this director also made a number of comedies over the years, which a lot of people don't know about. A lot of them have very limited availability nowadays. He did a bunch of them with Sho Aikawa in the 1990s. And Doppelganger actually had a significant element of humor to that film, even though it was marketed as a horror film. So he's very good at comedy. I really like his sense of humor. So there is an undercurrent of humor in To the Ends of the Earth that also works rather well. It's not like laugh out loud comedy funny, but it definitely has an undercurrent of humor and irony to it. Our lead actress, Atsuko Maeda, also worked with this director previously. She had a supporting role in Before We Vanish, and was also the lead in Seventh Code, which is another film that's kind of hard to find nowadays. But I think her performance here is one of the best that I've seen in her career. And we also have a supporting role for Shota Somatani, so it's nice to see him in this, although he's kind of a jerk in this film. But yeah, some familiar faces here. So really, To the Ends of the Earth, it's worth watching if you want a good quality Japanese film from recent years. This just came out a few years ago. So if you want to keep up with the industry, this is a good one to check out, especially if you're looking for like a drama with some good thematic depth to it. It's currently available streaming and also on physical media. And as always, I will see you next time.